Hello YouTube! So here's the second version of the quad, which is not the quad, we're going to call it the double. We're going to use the same scarf, and by the way, I'm choosing this scarf because I think it's easier to see the white. I have a lot of scarves, but I'm showing with the white and black one because it stands out against my hair and against my super fly pin to the wall curtain backdrop. So I'm doing the same thing where I want it to reach from the front of my hair to the nape of my neck, so I've got it folded over just partially. And I'm going to center it on my head again, make sure the ends are even, and bring both ends around to the front. So with this one, instead of another scarf, we're going to use two pieces of, in my case it's 2 pieces of chenille yarn. If you're going to use yarn, don't use chenille yarn. I'm choosing it because, again, it's going to stand out against the scarf. But chenille is kind of fragile. If you're going to pull it really hard, the string tends to snap. So I do something that A, doesn't unravel easily, and B, is fairly strong and it's going to hold up if you pull on it really hard. So what I did is I cut 2 pieces that were a little longer than my arm's reach across, and then I doubled them over so that the ends were even, and I've got a loop on one side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one side and I'm going to take the loop, pass it behind the scarf. Okay? So now the loop is over here, ends are over here, and I'm just going to put the ends through the loop and pull it tight. And you're going to want it pulled tight up, as tight up against your head as you can get it. Otherwise you're going to have some flopsy mops and stuff down by your ear when you're done, and that's not too cool. So this is the part where I discovered the first time that the chenille yarn wasn't a good idea. You can do each side individually if you want. I like to at least start the yarn on both sides because it keeps the scarf held taut while I'm doing this. So we're doing the same thing. Loop goes behind, ends get pulled through, and then we're going to cinch it up right up by your head. Now you don't have to use yarn. You could use strips of fabric, you could use little teeny tiny skinny scarves, you could use ribbon, you could use really anything yarn shaped will work for this. Now if you wanted to, you could just leave it like this. But is that enough for me? Oh, of course not. So now we've got 2 strands of yarn, 1 chunk of scarf. So what does 3 say? 3 says braid. So we're going to just braid this. Now this is the part where I say yarn is maybe not the best idea. It depends on the look you're going for. I personally kind of like the look of yarn because I really enjoy especially some of Brian Froud's illustrations. If you look at his representations of like elven women, a lot of them have hairstyles that are done very, very long braids with all sorts of fun stuff braided in. So chances are I'm going to speed up this video because it's going to take forever otherwise. So you can braid really as long as you want. You can braid all the way down to the end of the scarf. You'd want to leave a little bit of chunk of stuff hanging off. Really you're more constricted by how much yarn you have because that's what you're going to use to tie off the end. So make sure you stop when you've got at least, like, say 6 inches of yarn or whatever material you're using left. So I've braided it down that far. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 2 yarn ends and just twist them together a little bit just to get them to stay together. And then I'm going to wrap them around the big part of the scarf a couple times. And I'm going to do just like I did in the other one, quad, where I'm going to take the ends, and I've made a loop, my finger is through it. I'm going to stick them in top to bottom and pull tight. Not too tight though, because I'm using chenille. Right. So you get that done, you can kind of scrunch up that knot on the bottom, get it nice and tight. And there you've got one long braided section. So you can go to the other side, make sure it's still cinched up fairly tight, don't snap your yarn if you're me, and then go back and braid again. Now I would imagine you could do this places other than down by your ears. I like the look of this. I always wanted to have long hair that I could put in 2 long braids that went under my ears, because I'm a big hippie. But maybe you're not. So I would imagine you could tie the scarf the opposite way and have the pigtails coming from way up here. I have no idea what that looks like, so if you do it, post a link or a video response. That'd be even cooler. I haven't ever gotten one of those. So we're braiding and we're braiding and we're braiding. I'm lucky in that I braid pretty fast. Not as fast as I'd like for the purposes of this tutorial, but so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to twist the ends together, wrap the whole mess around here, and you could use pretty much any method that you can get to work. You can put a hair tie again, or a little black rubber band. Do it that way, and there you go. Now, the reason that I kind of like this one, even almost better than the other one, I can't demonstrate exactly why, but if you used yarn, especially if you use more than one piece, if you use, you know, a couple of pieces held together, and you matched it to the color of your hair, that would give the appearance, more or less, that your hair was braided into the scarf. Now, you might want to camouflage the little loop on the top, but that is as easy as one of our little good helper flower pins. So that is the double, you see. And this one I experimented with a little bit before I sat down to make this video, and found that you could extend this into other variations. You can take it and tie it in a square knot back here, so that both of the, we're going to go braids, right, are dangling down your back rather than down your front. You can also use this as a precursor for a sort of a mini turban by taking each end, passing it over the top of your head, and then either tying the ends in a knot if you've got a lot of space left there, or you can just tuck them in. Now obviously this is an entirely different look, but it starts with the same idea. So there you go. And I hope this was helpful. I personally am getting kind of addicted to different ways to wrap my scarf, and if it were for the fact that I have no money, I'd probably go out and buy one of those scarves just so I could experiment. So have fun, and I hope you enjoy.